Now that we've been working with fractions for what feels like a long time, now we're actually going to go back and do the very first lesson in the book. I feel like you'll understand this lesson much better having used fractions and interpreted them and figured out answers when you add them and subtract them, and talked about the bottom showing us how many pieces we have to make a whole thing, and the numerator showing us how many of those pieces are our focus. Often I'll say this is how many we have, but we've also practiced this as top divided by bottom, which is what they're showing you here. A fraction is a number that names equal parts of a whole or parts of a set. So that means you're dividing, right? You're taking this and dividing it among this many parts. The numerator is the number of parts represented. The denominator represents the number of parts in the whole thing. So this should be familiar. And if I haven't mentioned it yet, this is page 551 in your book, and you will want to turn to 551 in your book so that you can get this bottom part with me. In order to make this whole idea that a fraction shows you division, in order to have that make sense, they're going to put it in a story problem. So, Dylan, Drake, and Jade are sharing 2 small pizzas equally. So they've got the 2 pizzas. How much does each person get? So you've got your 3 people. You have 2 pizzas divided among 3 people. 2 pizzas divided among 3 people. So the fraction shows you the division. How does that work out here? Well, 1 pizza divided among 3 people, 2 pizzas divided among 3 people. That means there's 3 sections in each pizza. If they only divided 1 pizza among the 3 people, each person would get 1 out of the 3. But since they've divided 2 pizzas among each of the 3 people, each person gets 2 of the 3 pieces in each pizza. So they get 2/3 of the pizza. 2 divided by 3 shows you the same amount as 2 over 3. 2/3 means I'm dividing 2 things among 3 people. The amount of pizza each person gets is between what 2 whole numbers? Well, they get more than nothing, but they don't get all the way to 1 whole thing. So it's between 0 and 1 that each person gets. So make sure 551 is filled in. Now we're going over to 552. Another story problem to help you see how this fits together. Ray and Bailey are sharing 3 brownies equally. How much does each person get? So again, we've got our 3 brownies divided among, if it's Ray and Bailey, that makes 2 people. So each person gets 3/2 of a brownie. Now, I don't like their model very well, but okay, let's go with it. We've got our 3 brownies. To really show that each person gets 3/2, you would need to take Ray's and split it in half, and Bailey and split it in half. 1/2, 2/2, 3/2 for Ray. 1/2, 2/2, 3/2 for Bailey. The reason they didn't have them split in half is they don't think that you know enough yet to see that 3/2 of a brownie is the same as 1.5. But we've worked with these enough that you should be able to see the connection between 3/2 and 1.5. And so the model just shows that a little bit better. So each person gets 1.5 brownies because 3 divided amongst 2 means they get 1 whole thing and 1/2. Now the amount of brownies that each person gets is between what 2 whole numbers? Well, it's more than 1, but it's not all the way to the next whole number. What's the next whole number? That would be 2. So the number of brownies they get is more than 1 brownie, but less than 2 brownies. These are whole numbers. They don't have decimal parts. They don't have fractions with them. one more practice here. 2 bags of bird seed are used to fill 3 bird feeders. How much bird seed does each feeder use? Okay, so these are our 2 bags of bird seeds. They're divided among 3 bird feeders. So this bag of bird seed is divided among 3. This bag of bird seed is divided among 3. Each feeder uses 2 divided among 3, 2/3 of a bag of bird seed. So 2 divided by 3 is the same thing as 2/3. And by the way, that is between what 2 whole numbers? 1. Is it more than 1? Nope. 0. There's no whole number, so it's more than 0, but it's less than a whole thing because there's not 1 as a whole number. Now we're going to skip to page 556, top of the page. I would like you to pause the video and see what you get for numbers 1. No, those aren't numbers 1. I'm trying to find my sticky notes that say pause and resume, so I'm not looking at the screen. Try and do number 2, 3, and 4 here. Pause it and do those 3. All right, resume. Here we go. 1 large sub is divided equally among 4. How much of the sandwich did each person receive? 1 divided by 4. 1/4 of the sandwich. We'll just call it a sub to be shorter. 1/4 of the sub is how much each person gets. We have 4 gallons of paint divided among 25 chairs. Since each chair uses the same amount, those 4 gallons are divided equally among 25 chairs. So it takes 4/25 of a gallon to paint 1 chair. It would take 8/25 to paint 2 chairs. It would take 12/25 to paint 3 chairs. But here it's asking between what 2 whole numbers? Well, I don't have a whole thing yet, but I have more than nothing. So it's between 0 and 1. Maybe you didn't catch that there were 2 question marks here and 2 questions. Naughty, naughty, read closer. Number 4, Larson made 12 pillows from 16 yards. Now they turned this around. They took the 16 yards and divided it among the 12 pillows. So it took 16/12 to make each pillow. But then you should recognize this is an improper fraction. So if you didn't get 16 yards divided among 12 pillows, pause and simplify this, the whole number and the fraction. All right, let's simplify it. Well, we know if she makes 1 whole pillow, that takes out 12/12. We will have 4/12 left over. But you should see that you can simplify this fraction. Divide top and bottom by 4. Keep your whole number. We have 1 whole yard and 1/3. And this would be of a yard to make 1 pillow. How much did it take to make 2 pillows? Well, double this amount. It took 2 and 2/3. How much would it take to make 3 pillows? 3 pillows would take 3 and 3/3, which is really 4 yards. Kind of fun to start playing with it that way, isn't it? Between what 2 whole numbers does it take 1 pillow? Well, it takes more than 1 yard, but less than the next whole number, so it's less than 2. Bottom part here. The numerator is the blank number in a fraction. Oh boy, you better beat me to this one. The denominator is the... Okay, moving on. Elena drank 5 bottles of water over 7 volleyball practices. How much did she drink if she drank the same amount each time, which is almost impossible, but they had to say the same amount each time, otherwise you wouldn't be able to divide 5 divided by 7 and then you are left with 5/7 of a bottle. Two things that I want you to do. Before you do today's homework, I want you to go ahead and do the practice online. Once it loads up here, you'll see that it looks like this. So it has very similar story problems. You'll see already this is going to be 79 feet divided among your 9 artists. So you'll have to do, there it gave it to me, 79 divided by, that's why they have space for a mixed number. So you'll have to do the work on paper. 79 divided by 9. 9 times 8. We can do 8 whole things. We can take 8 whole groups of 9 out. We will have 72 of those 79 pieces taken care of. We have 7 pieces left over. It still takes 9 to make a whole. So we have 8 and 7/9. The other part of the question asks between which 2 whole numbers. Well, it's more than 8, but it's not all the way up to 9. It's 2/9 away from being 9, but it's between 8 and 9. So that I would like you to do. Let me check and see if I told you a number. I would like you to complete 10 of those online, and then go back into the book, page 553 and 554. So once you have all that practice, you will notice 553 looks very similar to what I had you practicing online. So when you have all of these blanks filled in, I need a photograph of this page, 553, and then 554. Yes, in this case, I want you to do 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9. So don't forget to do 8 and 9. Often we skip these. If you want to, talk this over with an adult, but you should be able to think your way through this based on all the work we've done with fractions. That is your homework for today. Tomorrow you have lots and lots of online practice because Wednesday is a test. I will tell you, the test on Wednesday is not in your paperwork this week. You will need to print it out. So if you don't think you have the ability to print it out, please send me a separate email today in all capital letters that says, I will not be able to print the test on Wednesday. And if you tell me on Wednesday you could not print the test, that tells me you didn't listen to this video today. Ooh. Not real sneaky of me because it is part of your job to listen to all the videos. Make sure you do today's homework, and if you don't think you will be able to print the test for Wednesday, please send me that email today. Tomorrow will be too late. Thank you.